Guys, we have an urgent breaking news coming out. US West Coast fault lines could trigger catastrophic back-to-back earthquake. Experts sounding the alarm. Alright, so we're gonna see what's going on here, guys. And The Guardian is putting out this news. Also, End Time Headlines just put out this one. Scientists warn 2 major West Coast fault lines could be in sync and trigger double earthquake. The Cascadia subduction zone and San Andreas fault. Alright, so we're going to see what's going on here, guys. This is a very important video. Do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. For those of you that want to send us letters, a prayer request, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida 34691. Alright, so we're gonna start with this one first, alright? And then we're gonna go with the Guardian. They putting out some very important news. You have Washington, Oregon, and California. Alright, so scientists are raising alarms after new research suggests that San Andreas fault running through California and the Cascadia subduction zone off the coast of Oregon and Washington might, in some cases, be capable of triggering one another, potentially producing successive earthquake within hours. That's brutal. The study, conducted by researchers at Oregon State University, analyzed ocean sediments and fault behavior to explore the possibility of such coupling between the two fault systems. According to the ABC7 report, the researchers found that earthquakes on one fault have the potential to set off the other within hours. Wow. This linkage, if confirmed, magnifies the threat posed by a single seismic event, while one large earthquake already present a serious disaster scenarios. 2 in rapid succession could stretch emergency sources to the breaking point. Now it says here, we could expect that an earthquake on one of the faults alone will draw down the resources of the whole country to respond to it. And if they both went off together, then you got potentially San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, and Vancouver all in an emergency situation in a compressed time frame. In other words, simultaneous or near simultaneous ruptures of the San Andreas fault and Cascadia subduction zone could produce a cascading disaster stretching up the West Coast, from California through Oregon, Washington, and into Canada. Given those risks, emergency planners are advised to consider the double quake possibility in their preparedness strategy. The ABC7 news article urges citizens to get a kit, make plan, and be informed. Wow. Once again, you have officials, even the news media, are telling Californians, the West Coast citizens, to have emergency go bag, to have stuff ready, to make plan, and to be informed, to make sure that you guys are ready. Give me a second here, guys. They know something. Ever since that monstrous earthquake that struck eastern part of Russia, they know something is wrong. Warning about the looming threat of the big one. A catastrophic... Whoops. Give me a second here, guys. There we go. A catastrophic earthquake that could devastate cities have stoked fears across the U.S. West Coast for decades. But, according to a new study, a new update, guys, a new study, a high magnitude earthquake in the Pacific Northwest could set off a secondary one on California San Andreas Fault, causing an unraveled catastrophe. The bigger one will have the potential to wreak havoc up and down the coast at once, researchers say. We could expect that an earthquake on one of the faults alone would draw down the resources of the whole country to respond to it, said Lee Arthur. Dr. Chris Goldfinger, a marine geologist and geophysicist. If they both went off together, then you've got potentially San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, and Vancouver all in an emergency situation in a compressed time frame. Wow. Man. So once again, you do have the news media urging citizens out there to get your kit ready, meaning your backpack, your go bag stuff. The Cascadia subduction zone, which can produce magnitude 9 earthquake on its own, has triggered tremblers on the San Andreas Fault in the past, according to the study, which was published on September 29. Now, Goldfinger said that the findings came after decades of head scratching and a lot of data that was difficult to explain. Now, drilling into deep sea settlement cores that contain thousands of years of geologic history, the researchers combed through the layers left from ancient earthquakes. Now, they thought the submarine landslide deposit were from San Andreas quake, but they were upside down from what we typically see, Goldfinger said. We realized that it wasn't a single deposit, he added. It was two. The patterns studied over decades through generation of graduate students led to a light bulb moment around 2017 when the scientists realized they were evidence of synchronicity between the Cascadia subduction zone and the San Andreas Fault. By analyzing the sandy structures within termites, which are layers of sedimentary deposits, the scientists were able to determine some ruptures happen just hours, or sometimes even minutes apart. There was evidence, according to the study, of 18 earthquakes during the last 3,000 years, the synchronized earthquake. It says here their findings suggest that these back-to-back earthquakes are not the exception, but rather occur in the majority of cases. The most recent occurrence they uncovered was connected to a tremendous trembler in the 1700s, which sent a tsunami sweeping across the Pacific. Archaeological artifacts shows that homes of the Cowinchin people living on Vancouver Island were leveled during the magnitude 9 earthquake, which also caused landslides and severe subsidence, all left behind in a geological record. Now, researchers have now found that a second quake up to a magnitude 7.9 probably affected Northern California shortly after the first struck. Experts have long hypothesized that faults could be connected, but this study offers the greatest amount of evidence of the significant dangers with the potential to affect millions of people. Once again, a magnitude 9 earthquake along the Cascadia subduction zone fault has the potential to produce an initial tsunami wave of up to 80 feet that was slammed into the coastal communities within 30 minutes after shaking begins, according to a scenario sketched out by federal emergency managers in 2022. Now, there, analysts found that impact from the earthquake was stretched across more than 140,000 square miles, affecting people in 3 states and parts of Canada. And the following tsunami would reach 27 countries and 17 tribes. According to a similar kind of analyst, that was done on a magnitude 7.8 earthquake on the southern San Andreas areas of California could shake for more than 2 minutes, causing more than 1,800 passing, 50,000 injuries, and $200 billion in damage. With severe, long-lasting eruption, large earthquakes on these faults occur roughly every 200 years, according to experts. Together, these events will cause unprecedented destruction, but for Goldfinger, there is a silver lining. Cascadia going off, he said, could serve as a natural early warning system, giving those who might be affected by a San Andreas quake more time to prepare. The breakthrough in the science, even though it comes with terrifying implications, is also giving researchers more insight that will aid in adopting and responding when catastrophes occur. Our preparedness level is poor, Goldfinger said. We have a long way to go, and all of these areas were built on top of ticking time bombs. Again, let's stop here for a second. Again, the West Coast has been celebrating the abomination. I just posted a video yesterday. The governor has signed a bill recognizing Daily as a holiday. Daily is again supposedly from India tradition festival, something like that, and it's about the light over darkness, and they say their prayer to their gods and stuff like that. The governor has passed a law that they're recognizing that as a holiday. Starting January 1st, 2026, the abomination that's going on out there in the West Coast, again, like it says here, all that is being built on top of a ticking time bomb, just like Sodom and Gomorrah, just like all these other regions that were taken out for, false idols and worshiping false gods. The work also keeps the dangers fresh on the minds of emergency managers and residents in the places most at risk. While it is uncertain when the next large earthquake might occur, there is still time to prepare. Get earthquake insurance. Explore options for strengthening homes built to older standards. Here's the thing, why are you going to do that when there's going to be an 80-foot tsunami? It's going to really impact the entire region. Once again, it says here, Ben, the senior media officer for the California Earthquake Authority, said in an email response, know what to do when the shaking starts. Drop, cover, and hold on. Environmental risks are interconnected on so many levels. Understanding that can be an important first step towards inspiring people to participate in the ecosystem of resilience. Wow. Alright, so give me a second here, guys. Give me 1 second. Man, all these news. ABC News Los Angeles, they the one who put put out the information. San Andreas Fault and Cascadia subduction zone could set off huge double earthquake. So they're urging everyone out there to make sure you have your kit ready, your bug out bags. USGS. Give me a second here. I want to take it to the USGS earthquake map really quick here. There we go. Alright, so, yikes. Don't tell me that's Yellowstone. Wyoming. I don't think Yellowstone is near that. Give me a second here. So it seems like Yellowstone. I think Yellowstone got hit. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's not too far from Yellowstone, right? A community. It says Mammoth, Wyoming. Give me a second here. That's Mammoth, Wyoming. Mammoth, Wyoming Hot Spring is located inside Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming. It census designated place, meaning it's a community within the park with a historical district, lodging, food, and all that type of stuff. All right, so give me a second here. So no, it's not. It's not. Once again, the Yellowstone volcano is not it's not near Mammoth, Wyoming. Rather, Mammoth Hot Spring is an area within the Yellowstone National Park. Okay, so the volcano's not near that. It's not near that. So that earthquake didn't affect Yellowstone volcano. But one thing I tell you guys, we are definitely seeing some earthquake here. You got some earthquake going on the West Coast. Seems like you got China. They got hit. What is this? 5.5, 10 kilometers. Let's go here with Russia. They got hit with a 6.0. Yikes. I was going to say 10.0. Excuse me. 6.0. This was 57 kilometers deep. All right. Other than that, it's not a bad day for earthquakes out there in the world. It's not. Seems like everything's looking pretty good. Other than that, it's just the warning that officials are putting out there for the West Coast that people need to start getting their emergency kit ready. They're really sounding the alarm with the San Andreas and Cascadia. They both could smash and it would be catastrophic. Double impact, it would be brutal. So they're urging Californians, all the people out in the West Coast, you need to have your emergency kits ready, meaning your go bag, emergency stuff, and know your plans. Again, it's very important to keep up to date with officials. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Share the video. Till next time later. Peace.